What's up, Bills Mafia? We're back with another exclusive update from Buffalo Beat News, where our mission is the same as the team's constant improvement. Whether it's on the field or here on the channel, we're all about getting better and pushing for greatness. Now, before we dive into the two major stories making headlines today, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a beat from One Bills Drive. Today, we're talking about two names that mean a lot to this franchise. Rasul Douglas, a former standout in our secondary, who can now land with a major AFC rival, and James Cook, whose contract situation may not be as dramatic as some think. Let's get into it. All right. We need to start with the buzz around Rasul Douglas, a guy Bills fans came to appreciate for his playmaking and physicality in the secondary. But here's the twist. He's still a free agent. And now, reports are linking him to one of the Bills' biggest potential roadblocks in the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals. Bleacher Report's Christopher Knox named the Bengals as a top landing spot for Douglas, saying Douglas would be a solid fit for the Bengals, who could pair him with Cam Taylor-Britt to create a physical and formidable duo on the outside. Now let's unpack why this matters. Cincinnati finished 2024 ranked 21st in passing yards allowed, and they didn't do much in the offseason to fix it. No big signings, no top picks used at cornerback, and with DJ Turner and Dax Hill both coming off injury-shortened seasons, the Bengals are banking a lot on uncertain talent. Enter Rasul Douglas. Despite a rocky 2024 where he gave up a 70.9% completion rate and a 120 passer rating when targeted, Douglas has shown he's capable of top-tier play. We saw it in 2023 when he brought stability and leadership to Buffalo's secondary. During a chaotic season of injuries, that down year, most analysts see it as an outlier, not a trend. And for Cincinnati, signing Douglas to a cheap, one-year, prove-it deal makes perfect sense. He'd bring experience, physicality, and mentorship to a young cornerback room with Super Bowl hopes. But for us, let's be honest, seeing Rasul Douglas in Bengals stripes would sting. Not because we let him walk. Buffalo has already restructured its cornerback room, but because we know exactly what he can bring to the table, especially against AFC quarterbacks. And remember, these Bills and Bengals have history, from primetime clashes to playoff battles. This rivalry is heating up. If Douglas lands in Cincinnati, it adds a layer of drama to any future matchup. Let's pivot to a hot topic that's been stirring up headlines, but might not be as controversial as people think: James Cook's contract situation. Look, we get it. Anytime a Pro Bowl player skips voluntary OTA letters, the media goes wild. And when it's a guy like Cook who's racked up back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons and earned a Pro Bowl nods, you expect contract chatter to follow. But let's separate the noise from reality. Cook's heading into the final year of his rookie deal. Reports say he's seeking something in the ballpark of $15 million per year, close to what Derrick Henry got in his latest contract. The question is, should Buffalo pay him that much? GM Brandon Beane doesn't think so. He told reporters, "I don't see us getting something done anytime soon." And when you dig into the details, that stance makes a lot of sense. Yes, Cook's production has been impressive, but let's not ignore the fact that he only plays about 50% of offensive snaps. The Bills often turn to Ty Johnson in hurry-up and third-down situations. And this team's philosophy, it's all about versatility and value at running back, not massive contracts. That's why Beane is hesitant to lock Cook into a big-money extension just yet. But here's the twist. Despite all the headlines, Cook himself has downplayed the drama. He skipped OTA letters but showed up for mandatory minicamp. And when asked directly, he said, "It's my team. In order for us to win a Super Bowl, I have to be out there with my teammates." That doesn't sound like a guy planning a holdout. That sounds like a leader who understands the bigger picture. So, while writers like Mo Modone from Bleacher Report are labeling Cook as the Bills' most important extension candidate, the truth is Cook probably plays this season out, earns his paycheck, and we revisit the deal in 2026. And hey, don't overlook another key name in a contract year: Connor McGovern, the Bills' starting center. He's been the glue of the offensive line and deserves just as much extension buzz as Cook. So, here's where we stand. Rasul Douglas could be heading to a rival land if he signs with Cincinnati. That's a move that could come back to haunt the Bills. James Cook's contract situation, it's real, but it's not the crisis some are making it out to be. He wants to be here. The team wants him on the field. And that's what matters most heading into camp. This is the time of year when rumors fly and narratives get blown out of proportion. But at the heart of it all, the Bills are focused, united, and building toward another deep playoff run. So here's the situation at Fanatics Fan Fest. Tyreek Hill, Miami Dolphins wide receiver and all-around big talker, was on stage talking about his frustrations facing the Bills, and then he dropped this: "Whenever we play the Bills, those guys typically play cover for because they're a bunch of BS." Yeah, that's a direct quote. Now listen, we know Hill's personality. He talks a lot. He's been that way since Kansas City, and hey, we get it, trash talk is part of the game. But here's the kicker: when you actually break down what he's saying, he's not exposing the Bills, he's exposing his own frustration, because the truth is, the Buffalo Bills have figured him out. In 9 career games against the Bills as a Dolphin, Tyreek Hill has totaled 45 catches, just 5 per game for 170 yards, about 52 yards per game, and only 2 touchdowns for a guy that's supposed to be the most dangerous deep threat in the NFL. Those numbers scream contained. Now let's talk strategy. Yes, the Bills play cover for against Miami more often than most other teams. In 2024, Buffalo ran cover for on 15% of snaps, overall tied for 11th in the league. But against the Dolphins specifically, the Bills ramped it up, running to high safety looks, cover 2, 4, or 6 on a whopping 73% of defensive snaps. And guess what? It works. Here's why. The Dolphins' offense is built on vertical speed. You've got Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, 2 of the fastest receivers in football. You've got Tua Tagovailoa, a QB with one of the league's best deep ball accuracy ratings. But Buffalo's secondary has adapted. Cover 4 is perfect for neutralizing vertical attacks. It keeps both safeties deep, protecting against the very kind of big play shots Hill thrives on. When the Bills deploy it effectively, and they usually do, it forces the Dolphins to be methodical, which is something they struggle with when pressured. Let's not forget about the quarterback here. Tua Tagovailoa has been statistically elite against the rest of the NFL. He's the only QB with a passer rating over 100 in each of the last 3 seasons. But against Buffalo, different story. In his 9 career games versus the Bills, 1,830 passing yards, 9 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, 80.5 passer rating. That's far from elite. In fact, in each of the last 4 years, Tua has had at least 1 game against the Bills where his adjusted completion percentage ranked in the bottom 3 of his season. Simply put, Buffalo owns real estate in Tua's head and probably in Tyreek's. Now here's the irony. Tyreek Hill is mad that the Bills strategically neutralize him. But go back and watch that 70-point explosion against the Broncos in 2023. When Hill had 157 yards and a touchdown, what kind of coverage did Denver run? You guessed it, not enough to high. The Bills saw what others didn't and adjusted accordingly. They built a game plan around forcing Miami to beat them with patience, not speed. And let's be honest, Tyreek calling them BS for playing smart, disciplined football. That's pure frustration. It's not disrespect, it's an unintentional compliment. This is what separates Buffalo from the rest of the AFC East. The Bills' coaching staff, especially on defense, knows how to build a plan around the opponent's strengths. They don't play checkers, they play chess. Tyreek and Tua can burn teams like Denver or the Chargers, who don't commit to playing deep, disciplined zone coverages. But Buffalo, we're not falling for the bait. It's why the Bills have beaten Miami consistently and remained for time defending AFC East champions. And guess what? They're not about to change what's working just because a receiver threw a tantrum at Fan Fest. But now, I want to hear from you, Bills Mafia. Sound off in the comments. Should the Bills make a move and try to bring Rasul Douglas back, or are they right to let him walk? Do you think Cook deserves a top-tier RB contract? Or is Bean making the right call, waiting it out? And what would you do if you were running the Bills front office? Let's chop it up in the comments. Drop your takes, your hot predictions, and what you think this all means for the 2025 season. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, do us a huge favor. Like the video, subscribe to Buffalo Beat News, share this with your Bills fan crew, because the grind to greatness continues. We'll be back soon with more exclusive updates from camp, player spotlights, and everything you need to stay locked in with the Bills. Until next time, go Bills!